Hi there. Today I am going to show you some of my fall decks that I'm planning on using, and I might try and pare it down a little because I probably have too many, but I'm going to start with some old favorites, and then I'll show you some decks I've got in the last year or decks I haven't shown before on YouTube. All right, first deck is the Ravenswood Eastern Tarot, and this is just a cute little RWS deck, and it is by Dirk, Dykstra, and it is just kind of like hand-drawn, and it's black and white, and I just think it's fun to have, just to throw in my purse and carry around. I enjoy the Eastern vibe to this deck. And even though it is very RWS, I enjoy it due to its illustrations. And I like the black and white simpleness to this deck. I think it's really pretty. And it's super easy to read, of course. I think this one's out of print at this point in time, but I don't think it's terribly hard to find. But again, I could be wrong, but I will. I'm going to try and link everything below in the bottom so that you can see which decks, what the name of the decks are, even if they're out of print. And we'll just kind of flip through this one. I don't know. I have shown this one a couple times, I think, but it's probably been a year since I did. So I thought, this would be a fun one to show for fall. And this one I'm going to keep in my purse for fall. And today I'm trying not to show kind of spooky season decks. I'm just trying to show like fall vibes, because we're almost in fall, and I have a tendency to always want to use my spooky season decks too early. All right, next one is the Hush Tarot. I really love the Hush Tarot for fall. I love it all year actually, but I think this is such an incredibly beautiful deck. I have talked about this one in the past a fair amount, but I think we all enjoy, I think a lot of us enjoy this deck because its art is just beautiful. It's that liminal space of that things dying, but sometimes new things coming out of it. But Jeremy Hush's art is absolutely beautiful. And this is such a fall vibe deck. It's hard not to want to use this in the fall. And you know, it's still really, really hot here. But I can already tell that the light is changing. And when I get up really early in the morning, sometimes it's like a little bit chilly and I have to wear pants and a sweatshirt. But then, you know, we have really, really hot days right now. And probably will till the end of October. And then it'll cool down a little bit. But the light has changed so much that it's really starting to feel like fall now. And I have less hours in the day to do things. When I'm in Hawaii, the seasons don't change that much from winter to summer. The light doesn't change that much. There's only an hour difference. And so when we moved to the mainland, it was really an interesting shift. All right, next one is Pagan Otherworlds. And for sure, the first ones I'm showing you, I am for sure going to use for fall. And then some of the other ones we'll see. This deck is always really slippery. And sometimes it slips out of my hands. But I've been using this for the last month or so, and I'm just going to keep using it. I really love this deck. I think it's really beautiful. I haven't used it every year in the fall for some reason. I don't know why. It's such a feeling of fall. And it could be a feeling of spring too. Sometimes I get the moon cards mixed up in here. But I'm sure everybody's seen this a million times, so I won't flip through the whole thing. But it is just such a beautiful deck. And I love its color palette. It's sort of subdued, and it's really, really beautiful. So I will be using this one, and I've been pairing this with some really great things, so I'll show those later. All right, next one is the Romeo and Juliet Tarot, and this is a deck I've had for a long time, but don't use it every year, but this year I do want to use it. It's really beautiful. And that's what the front looks like. It's called the Shakespeare Tarot. But it's gorgeous, and there's always little illustrations, even in the pips. And it's just such a beautiful deck. And it's very fun to use in the fall or spring. It's got that transitional feeling to it. But very, very gorgeous. There's several versions of this. I have a couple versions of it. But there's different versions, and they have different cardstocks on them. And one is bigger. And then there's more tarot size like this one. But anyway, I think this deck is beautiful. So I will be for sure using this in the fall. This one I've had for a little more than a year. And I really love this deck. It's Le Tarot Arthurian. It's by Claire Duval, and it's just gorgeous. And it's perfect. I used it last year at this time of year, all the way probably through almost February. I brought it to Hawaii with me, and I went to Hawaii for several months last year. I'm probably going to go like at the end of October, and I'll probably go for maybe just a couple months this year. Or this time of year. I might go again in like February, but I still have a lot of family and friends over there. So I have places to stay. I don't have much internet while I'm there, so I usually don't film videos over there. I think this deck may be coming out in English. So this is the French version of it. And I can't guarantee that it's coming out in English, but I kind of think it is. I think they started working on the translation last year, because there were so many people requesting that it come out in English. But right now it's not. It's got a really thick guidebook. Let me see if I can find. There's the guidebook. So it's really thick and really well done. And if you enjoy the Arthurian stories, this one goes into quite a bit of depth, but quite a beautiful deck. All right, next one is the Mosquite Tarot. This is just another little tiny deck that's really fun. It's out of print, but it's a deck that I enjoy using probably the most this time of year and again in the spring. It has a kind of spring feel, but I like using it in the fall too. It's got a limited color palette. It's got a great guidebook, even though it's small. And it just feels like transitional to me. Liminal. So I enjoy this one. It is really beautiful. I won't go through the whole thing, but it's got little leaves on the back. And this is the guidebook. Next, I'll show you the Blood Moon. I think this is getting a reprint. It's out of print right now. I love this deck. That's my favorite, or for sure one of my favorite all-time full cards. I should do that Tarot Trump tag that Masha's doing. It was a whole year. Maybe I'll do it next year. I love this deck, and this feels like fall to me. I guess you could use it in the spring too, because it has a lot of green, kind of waking up energy too, but oh, it's gorgeous. And this deck is just something I really enjoy. I love the art in it. I love the feel of this deck, and I love how this deck reads. And it's got different suits. It's got honey, skins, songs, and did I say that? Anyway, I love this world card. It is just gorgeous. So it has had the suits changed. But once you get used to using it, you figure it out pretty quick. That's the honey suit. I really like all the suits, actually. They're really different. That's the song suit. Somebody said they didn't like the songs, the dreams, but I love them. I think they're beautiful. The skins. The songs are the water suit. Well, you can probably tell. But what a gorgeous deck. So for sure I want to use this one. I just like using it anyway, and it shuffles so great. It shuffles beautifully. And I don't know if you can tell, but like in here, the Fool is going out into the unknown, but on the door, there's all these carvings. It's just beautiful. So gorgeous, so gorgeous. All right, next I'll show you Mio Ims Tarot. I've been using this quite a bit this summer. And, well, the last half of summer. And I don't remember loving this deck so much, but for some reason this year, I've just absolutely loved it. It's just beautiful. It's a big deck. It's linen cardstock. It's just gorgeous. And I just don't want to stop using it. And it does feel like a fall deck. But I've just really, really appreciated the art and how it reads this year. And, you know, for a while it was sitting on my shelf. And I don't know why, but I wasn't using it. And I think I just kind of forgot how beautiful it was and how attracted to it I was. And then this year I got it out maybe in August. And I just ended up loving it. I don't know why I got it out in August, but I did. I just was wanting to use it. And it's just a beautiful deck. And it's still in print. It's got a lot of antlers and bones and things. It's really pretty. All right, that's Mio Ims Tarot. And I'll try and link the names of everything down below. And if something's in print, I'll try and, unless it's mass market, I'll try and link to the creator. All right, this is the Pcut Tarot. This is Marseille deck. I've been using this summer, and I just think it's really fun. And I've been really enjoying it. I think the shadows are starting to move around, so I may have to switch positions. It's kind of late in the day. But this is a gorgeous deck. It is kind of scary if some of these... It's an odd deck, you know, like that's intestines, right? So not everybody loves this deck, but I love it. It's been fairly popular on YouTube. It's a really good one. It's got a fair amount of blood and gore. Not too much, but a little. The swords have blood on them. But it's really fun. So I'm going to be using that one. All right, another fall deck that I love using is the Darkwood. And this is mass market in print. It's such a good deck. It's by Sasha Graham and Abigail Larson. And it's just really beautiful. I think I'm going to have to move because of the light. And this just feels like going into fall. And it's a little bit of that spooky season feel, but it's also like Darkwoods feel. The fall coming. Such a pretty deck. Just love the art in this. And it is young, feels young. You know, kind of that maiden energy, but sometimes I just like that. Anyway, beautiful deck. And it's mass market, so easy to get. All right, DOnX. I've been using this quite a bit. This is a gorgeous deck. I have the big version of it too. I've had this deck for several years. There was a class, I think maybe a year ago, and I missed it. And that would have been fun to take. But this is incredibly well done. It's so beautiful. The cardstock is lovely. This is the small version of the deck, and it's pretty tiny. The big version is really beautiful, but I end up using this smaller version quite often. Way more than I use the bigger version. I think just because it's easy to pull out and use. And the bigger one I keep put away in a big box and gourds. But really well thought out, really beautiful deck. And I've been pairing this quite a bit lately too. And just really enjoying it this year. So that is DOnX. Courtney Alexander's. And Savvy Soul Tarot. This is a really beautiful deck by Julie. And I'm not going to try and say her last name because I can't pronounce it. Because I don't know how to pronounce it. So this is a collage deck, and it's really beautiful, and I think this one's out of print right now. That freaked me out a little, but I've gotten used to it now. And this has a lot of people. It's a people-y deck, but because it's collage, and it's really modern, but I like it, I enjoy it, and it's fun to use. And I thought this would be a fun one to use this year, and I don't think I used it last fall. I mean, I use it off and on, but I thought it'd be fun to use this fall. And I don't know the status of it, if there's a reprint planned. I'm a little bit out of touch on that. But I do think it's a cool deck. And I'm usually not into super modern decks, but you know, sometimes I am. It just depends on the deck. This one is very modern. Very cool though. So that's Savvy Soul. Okay, next is just make playing cards. I think this is still on Kickstarter. It is called Naturescapes Tarot. And it just comes in a little tech box. It might not have even came in a tech box. I might have ordered the tech box. But it is a great outside photography deck. And I've had this deck for many years, and I use it almost every year. Really enjoy it. It's really beautiful. And I don't know if these were pictures. I'm assuming they were like pictures that were found on one of the free sites, because they're all over the world. And I think unless you were like traveled full time, that it would be hard to go to all these places. So my guess is that it was done just from the free pictures that you can get online. But really well done. I always love that picture. And fun, and it makes sense. It's a RWS style deck, but it actually makes quite a bit of sense. And it resonates with me. So I do enjoy this deck. Look at that Ace of Pentacles. I just think that's so beautiful. There's a lot of this deck that I find incredibly beautiful. I love that Wheel of Fortune. And you know, like, look how they did the Emperor. And it just stands kind of cold and in charge. I'll just go ahead and flip through it. If you ever get a chance to go to the Redwood Forest, the redwoods in Northern California and Southern Oregon are so spectacular. It's just so amazing to stand in front of those. There's nothing like it. And I think that's the only place they are in the world. They are incredibly beautiful. All right, this is a beautiful deck. I even love the backs of it. This is the Aeros Tarot. A warning, this has a lot of nudity and sexual suggestions in it. So it's not a great deck. If you have young kids, you might want to consider that before leaving the video on. Okay, another Marseille deck. is the Aeros Tarot. I think this has been out of print, and I think maybe it's on pre-order right now or something. It's in print for years, but then I think it's been out of print maybe for a year or two. But I do, if it's not on pre-order yet, I think that they're planning a pre-order. So I think I heard something. This is a really funny deck and a really cool Marseille deck. And I won't flip through all of it. It's very suggestive. It's not, well, it is pretty blatant, I guess. It does it in an interesting way, though. But this deck is really fun. I left it out one time near my incense, and it still smells like incense. It's kind of funny. Okay, this deck has nudity. I should have done a warning. I'll do a warning. I won't go through the whole thing because it does have quite a bit of nudity. Next, I'm going to show you the Yokai deck. And I've had this deck for several years. I've shown it on YouTube a few times, but not a ton. I think you've seen this around probably. I don't know if this is out of print. I kind of think it is right now. But this is a really fall feeling deck to me. And this year, I just really wanted to use this one. I just felt like the time to use it. And I'll go back and forth and use this for a while and then put it away. But right now, I just am really called to it right now. I think it's just an absolutely beautiful deck. And the quality of this deck is really high. It's got really beautiful gold gilding. It's got linen cardstock, and it shuffles so well. And it's got that thin linen cardstock. That's kind of my favorite. I really love it. And I've just been really happy with this deck. I think Sylvie from Fairlight Tarot talked about some of the characters and some of the legends behind them. I don't know a ton about the characters and the ghosts and spirits, but there is a guidebook that has some information, and it's in English, or it's half in English, so you can learn about it that way. And then if you wanted to, you could just do a little more research or watch that video. So I think this is just beautiful, and I love the limited edition color palette for this time of year. And it's kind of spooky feeling. Anyway, very gorgeous. I love these backs. I think they're beautiful. All right, now I'm going to show you some newer decks. This is the Habetrot Traum Tarot one. It's really beautiful. I put it back in order to do a walkthrough of this one. And do I have the other one? Which I haven't been using because I was trying to do a walkthrough, called the Tamara Tarot. But I really enjoy this deck. I think it's super beautiful. I was just going to do a comparison of the two of them. I don't know, but I'll see if there's another one out there. If there's another one out there, I probably won't. But this is a beautiful deck. It does use AI a little bit, but it's really well done and really well thought out. And it's got this kind of mid-century modern vibe. It's got kind of 1920s vibe. And I don't know what it is. I love the backs of it. I just love this deck. I think this Eight of Wands is so gorgeous. It reminds me of Europe, like long ago when I was a kid. And you know, even before then, but the style reminds me of when I was young. I used to see things that were more the style in Europe at the time when I was young. And obviously some of this is way older than that. But it's just really beautiful. And I don't know, I think she's maybe going to put some decks up pretty soon, maybe towards the end of the year. And I don't know if it includes these, or I think these might be gone, but I think the new one, the Tamara Tarot, I think there's some left. This is just beautiful. So I thought that would be fun to use in the fall. And I used it quite a bit when I first got it. Okay, another newer deck is the Rhonda Tarot, and I've been having a lot of fun with this, so I'm probably just going to keep using this. It's got yes and no cards at the back. But I may put it away for a little bit because it does have more of a summer feel to it. But, oh, it's so beautiful. It's hard to put away. I'll probably keep using it for a little bit longer, and then maybe I'll put it away when it starts getting colder. Because it still feels like summer here. Or at least during the day it does. And sorry if there's shadows. It's pretty late. And the sun goes down to my left. And I love filming outside because I just love being outside. This one I did put back in order. And I've shown this a few times, I think. So I won't go through the whole thing, but I'll show you a little bit of each suit in case you hadn't seen it before. This is the first edition of the Rhonda Tarot. Oh, so pretty. I am planning on doing a little video, a walkthrough of this. I haven't made it yet. All right, that's the Rhonda Tarot. Next, I'm going to show you the Scarab and Dahlia. I haven't really played with this very much yet. I've had it for a while. I saw it on Rosebay's channel, and she really liked it. And so I ended up getting it because I thought it was so beautiful. And I really love this deck. I'm kind of excited to play with it. I just hadn't done it yet. I did pick, it has a bunch of lovers cards. Do I have them in the deck? I might not have them in the deck. Maybe I have them at the back here. So these are the other lovers cards. They're all beautiful. But this deck is really fun. It's been getting a lot of attention. So I won't go through it too much in depth. I was going to do a walkthrough, but I think there's a bunch out there, so I think I probably won't. But I thought it'd be good to use in the fall. It is pretty colorful. It reminds me of like a fiery energy deck. It's got a lot of that fire energy. I love that 8 of Wands. So I won't show you the whole thing because there's quite a few walkthroughs, I think, out there now at this point. Next, I'll show you the Legendarium. Sorry about the train. This is a Kickstarter I backed. It's a Marseille deck. It's really beautiful. It is by Montanzini. Anyway, it's gorgeous. And I've had this less than a month, so I thought it'd be fun to use it. Really gorgeous. It's really fun. It's a limited color palette, which is sometimes not my favorite because or this particular, I don't know about the turquoise, but for some reason, even though that might not be my favorite color palette, I really like this deck. And partly I just want to use it for fall because I just want to use it and I think it's really fun. So I'm going to use it for fall. But it is really pretty. All right, I won't show you the whole thing. I'll do a walkthrough of this if there isn't anything out there. All right, next I will show you the Heartwood Tarot. And there's train noise again. It's taking me so long to film. This is incredibly beautiful. And this is by 3 Trees Tarot by Stephanie Burrows and illustrated by Adam Ohlers. I just think this is incredibly gorgeous and very, very fall feeling. And out of all of these decks, I think this might be my very favorite. And I love them all. And I have all of them and the minis. There isn't a mini for this one yet, but when there is, I will definitely be getting it. But this one is so sweet and beautiful. And I've just really enjoyed playing with this. It's just so well done. All of their decks are amazing, but this one is extra special to me. And I love the hedgehog and the deer. Oh gosh, it's just so beautiful. Really, really pretty. And I know everybody's been showing this, getting a lot of attention, but I really like it. So I won't go through the whole thing, but just so pretty. And there's some extra cards. Home is one of them. All right, I'm going to show something else. But even the colors seem to be very fall perfect. All right, next I'm going to show you a Honasa House deck. This is the one with the maroon backs that I tend to use in the fall. I use this deck all the time. And this one just tends to be my fall one. Partially because of the deep maroon colors in it. The purples are very vibrant and the greens are very vibrant in this one. But that deep blood red color just kind of adds a fall vibe to me. And so I tend to use this one this time of year. And also just enjoy the maroon backs. This is just a gorgeous deck. I've shown multiple versions of this on my channel. I was going to do a walkthrough of a bunch of different versions, but I have never done that. So I did it on my own, and then I thought it was kind of interesting and meant to make a video, and then I think I kind of forgot about it. So I won't go through it because I have shown different versions of this, but this is a beautiful deck and very fun for fall. Another old one that was in a pile that I missed is the, what's the name of this deck? It's the, I'll link it down below, but it's, I think it's called the Norse Rune Tarot or the Nordic Rune Tarot or something like that. Anyway, I have a ton of Norse decks. This is one of my very favorites. It's a mass market deck. I don't have the box out here, but maybe I'll splice the box in at the end of this walkthrough. But this is a gorgeous deck and it's very fall feeling. And it's really beautiful. It has a lot of runes in it. Talks about the runes a little bit. It's an RWS deck, but it's just different. And it feels like fall going into winter. I really, really love the art in this deck. I'm Norwegian, so with a bunch of other things mixed in, but I just enjoy this one. And I always keep coming back to this every year. Really love it. And it feels like it has kind of a masculine energy to it, which is kind of nice because a lot of my decks have a more feminine feel, and this one doesn't. This one has a very masculine balance to it, which is really nice. So this will be in my fall rotation. I think it's the Nordic Rune Tarot, but anyway, I'll link it down below, or I will list it down below and I will put a picture in. Another old favorite is the Tarot of Gemstones and Crystals. And this one has black borders on it now, if you get it now. These are the white borders. I like this deck, and I think it'll be fun in the fall. It goes with lots of other stuff, but I think it's interesting, and I wanted to pair it with a new oracle I got, so I thought I'd bring it out. And so I thought this would be really fun. This video is only tarot cards, or no oracle decks. I'll do a separate one for oracles probably, but this is just my fall tarot decks. And I might try and pare this down a little bit. For right now, these are what my plan is. My plan is to use these decks that I'm showing today for fall. I probably won't add anything except for if I get Kickstarters in, or I have a few decks that I got that were either pre-orders or Kickstarters, and I might add one or two of those, but maybe more for spooky season, not for fall. So this is a gorgeous deck, and it is available mass market in black now. Or sorry, with black borders. That's the name of it, Tarot, Gemstones, and Crystals. I'll list all the decks though. All right, this is one I've never shown on YouTube before. It's called the Hexen, and this is the Hexen 2.0, and I'm definitely gonna play with this one. I had bought this from Tarot Garden. This is a gorgeous deck, and it is a very unusual deck. I'll probably do a walkthrough and talk about it. It's by Susan Treister, and it is about the Macy conferences and all about the people that went to that and things that happened there. And it's an interpretation of the tarot that's really unique. And I won't go through the whole thing right now because I will just do a walkthrough if anybody wants. If nobody wants, I probably won't. But it is an interesting deck. And there's been rumors off and on of it coming back into print, but I don't know if it will or not. It is definitely out of print right now. All right, that's the Hexen, and I'm for sure going to use that this fall. All right, another old favorite is the Witch Sister Tarot. And I've had this one over a year, but it was in that other pile, so I missed it. I love this deck, and I definitely want to use it this year. Again, I used it this time last year all the way through January, February. It's really different. It's really a powerful deck. I don't love the color of the backs, but I did edge it in that kind of the same colors on the backs. It's a mass market deck. It's by Julia Jeffries, and I really like her art, and I like what she does with decks. So this is something I really enjoy, and it's very fall feeling to me. And so I will be using this again. There's a bunch of videos on this talking about this deck. Like, tons of people have done videos about this, but it's unique in that it's very feminine, but it's got older women in it, which we don't see very often, especially the amount of age we see in this deck. And it's got young people too, but it's definitely got a range, and that's pretty unique in tarot. So really cool, very witchy deck. Witch Sister Tarot by Julia Jeffries. All right, next I'll show you the Little Bird Tarot, and this is by Shauna D. And this one I got this year. I love it. I think it's absolutely beautiful and perfect for fall. Oh, this would look good with one of my oracle, my flower oracles. So I'll have to pair that. I'll do a pairing. Anyway, I just absolutely adore this deck, and I'm using it currently, and I'm going to keep using it for the fall. And I'll do more videos about this, but I just adore this one. And I love birds, so it's really beautiful. And it's got a lot of flowers and plant life too. And I'm sure you've seen walkthroughs of this, but if you haven't, it is very fun. This was a Kickstarter that I backed. And I think it's for sale now. All right, so that is the Little Bird Tarot by Shauna D. All right, last deck is the Peculiar Pathways by Lennox Reeves. And she has a new deck coming out too, but this one I think is beautiful and really fun, and I'm really enjoying it. And so I'm going to keep using it through the fall. And there's been a lot of walkthroughs and videos about this, and it's just beautiful. I love the black and white with the color. The Goblins and Gardens Tarot does that too. Now I'm really enjoying that style, but it's really fun and really beautiful. And this is going to be the last one I show today. So thanks for watching. See ya.